Today, we'll be talking about an advocacy that's close to the heart of HABI: cotton. As part of reviving the local weaving industry and promoting the use of natural and local fibers in the Philippines, HABI continues to sustain its long-term commitment and advocacy of renewing the enthusiasm of using pure Philippine cotton, a fiber that is very much a part of our culture. As a pilot project, HABI engaged 20 weaving communities all over the country by commissioning textiles to be woven in Philippine cotton provided by HABI. These cotton threads are to be hand-woven into textiles that represent the current skills and capabilities of our weavers. Later, the textiles will be revealed. To discuss more about the cotton project, we have a video message from Ms. Ruby Roa straight from her home.
Hi Kylie! We are pleased to showcase today the hand-woven cotton textiles we commissioned from the various communities in the country, from Ilocos, Cordillera Region, Palawan, Aklan, Negros Oriental, Negros Occidental, South Cotabato, Davao del Sur, and all the way to Sultan Kudarat. Although the weavers were initially reluctant to weave with cotton, after they tried the HABI Philippine cotton threads, they were convinced that it results in a textile that is far superior to polyester. It is highly absorbent, supple, yet sturdy and hygienic. In HABI's first year, we selected quality textile produced by weavers. Eventually, the yearly HABI Bazaar was created as a venue for them to sell. This brought about the blossoming of the craft, which then encouraged them to improve on their skills and revive old techniques. Today, you can avail of 100% cotton textiles and cotton threads at www.shophabifair.com. This initiative is just one of the many. Watch out for more as we stay true to our commitment to the cotton advocacy.
In 2015, the Philippine Fiber Industry Development Authority, or PhilFIDA, proposed that HABI sponsor an experimental planting of cotton in Batac, Ilocos Norte. The harvest there was eventually spun by the Philippine Textile Research Institute, or PTRI. HABI sold the yarns that were produced in the HABI Fair and made the yarns available to weavers willing to experiment and revert to weaving in cotton. In 2017, HABI started supporting Iloilo cotton farmers by buying cotton directly from them in order to encourage them to keep on planting. In 2018, HABI partnered with a farmers co-op in Negros Oriental, which expanded the cotton supply base. In 2019, several government projects started to put up spinning facilities all over the Philippines. But because of the pandemic, these are not yet operating. This year, in cooperation with the Ayala Foundation and PhilFIDA, HABI undertook an organic cotton pilot project in Calauan, Laguna. Soon, Philippine-grown cotton will be available to the weavers. I know you might have some questions like, why cotton? What are its benefits, and is using cotton expensive? Well, we hope to answer these questions now with the help of our HABI friends who happen to be textile experts and entrepreneurs. You might be wondering how this can turn into something like this. Let's hear it from Mike Clapperals of Creative Definitions.
Hello everyone, I'm Mike Clapperals, also a proud HABI member and I'm in charge of the HABI Cotton Project. Today I will be discussing with you the process involved in converting cotton to yarns. Well, to putting it simply, I'm going to show you how cotton from this form will be converted to this form and eventually to this form, which will be used by the weavers in making their fabrics. If you look at the image right now, these are cotton seeds. The most common variety here in the Philippines we use is the Sipium hirsutum variety, which is also common with the rest of the world. Just like any other plant, there's also the growing period, and for cotton, it normally takes about 4 months. During harvest, you have farmers picking the cotton bulbs and are collected into something like this. Upon baling, this is where the purchasing happens. We weigh them and we pay them based on the per kilo basis. Before sending to a spinning facility, the seed cotton needs to be ginned, turning them into lint. So after we have the lint here, it's again baled into sacks and weighed. With this, we proceed to the spinning facility. Okay, the spinning facility has several steps, but I'll just give you major steps. This is a carding machine wherein the thin cotton is converted into something like a web-like structure, made into slivers. And the slivers are then put into another machine called the drawing frame. And from the drawing frame, we have the roving frame, and eventually a winding machine. So the whole idea there is from raw cotton, you come up with the smaller and smaller pieces of the fibers until you come up with the yarns. So from the yarns, it can be used by the weavers to make the desired fabrics. The next important step, of course, is how to add color in them. So from this form, we end up with something like this. And there are two methods that are employed. The most common is the manual method, which is employed by several weaving communities in a small scale. And they normally use natural or synthetic dyes. If it's natural, normally they use plants around their environment, whether it's leaves from the talisay tree or achuete or even the turmeric. And of course, if they use synthetic dyes, as long as it's azo-free and non-acidic, then it's okay. Not only is it good for our skin, but it's okay for the environment. Of course, the other method is the more high-tech industrial-sized dyeing facility. Those are different vats which can handle 200 to 300 kilos of the yarns at a time. And after the dyeing process is done, it's winded back into the combs for distribution. So if you ask me why cotton, it's the best all-around natural fiber. It's easy to handle and can also be blended with other natural fibers. The most important reason, I'd say, it doesn't cause pollution, unlike polyester, wherein you have microfilaments spreading all over the oceans here. But cotton, after 5 months in the ground, it decomposes and goes back to the biosphere. Cotton is also more breathable and comfortable to the skin. That ends my presentation on cotton production. Thank you very much, and back to you guys.
Look at this cotton thread. This is what the weavers used to work with. Oh look! The weavers sent a video.
Ito ang mga sinulid na pinadala ni Ma'am Ruby Rua na gagamitin ko sa aking paghahabi. Ngayong araw na ito maghahabi ako. Ngayon magwa-work ako para magamit ko na sa aking paghahabi. Magwa-work na ako ng sinulid. Lagay ko na ang sinulid sa suyot upang makapili na ako sa aking paghahabi.
Let's move on to Charisse Aquino Tugade of the Manila Collectible, who will tell us about the benefits of using cotton.
Thank you, Kylie, for that introduction. Yes, we are crazy over cotton, and I guess the reason being is that it's one of the natural fibers that we traditionally weave with, aside from abaca, pinya, and of course silk. Many of the weaving areas around the Philippines were using cotton traditionally, and then later on, a few decades ago, many started moving towards polyester and rayon, and the reason why is that we didn't have a lot of available cotton, and a lot of the mills weren't spinning cotton. So many of the weaving communities started to shift up until actually a couple years ago. It was just all polyester and rayon that you could see in the market, which is fine for some other things, but it is really, really very hot. Many communities that wear malong shifted to wearing malongs from Indonesia or Malaysia because it was pure cotton, and the malongs that were actually made here were reserved for special occasion, but it wasn't worn for a long time because it is made out of a material that is not natural, and cotton is a natural material, and it's also hypoallergenic, and it's actually very strong even when wet. So now that cotton is available in the market, we introduced it back to the Iranun community of Sultan Kudarat, Maguindanao, and Cotabato City. And many of these weavers are Inoul weavers. And a couple years back, we introduced the use of cotton. It took about a year to a year and a half for the entire process of perfecting how to use cotton. There's a learning process to go with transferring to cotton from polyester to rayon. But now we're proud to say that we have more than 30 families that have switched over to cotton because it is very wearable and there is a demand for it. And if there are communities that are interested in learning about cotton, HABI is here for you to aid you and give you guidance if you need. Thank you.
Now that you've learned about how the hand-woven cotton fabrics are produced, let's look at the textiles that were submitted for the HABI Cotton project. The craftsmanship of the weavers are just outstanding. Not only are they beautiful, but they're very soft to the touch. Moreover, weavers are bringing innovation to their craft. Rosal Lim takes us on her journey with these craft communities.
Hi, I'm Rosal Lim, the Business and Development Director for Rungan Sotobod Foundation. We are a 20-year-old creative community here in Palawan. We started training people how to weave as an alternative form of livelihood for women in farming and fishing communities here in Palawan. Because we were a new industry, we really wanted to make sure that we utilize the local material available. And at that time, it was pineapple and silk. As we moved forward, we really had this thing about using traditional techniques to create something new. When we joined HABI and HABI started making high-quality Philippine cotton available, we were given this new avenue to experiment. We started simple just by mixing it with the natural materials that we were already using, mixing pinya and cotton, silk and cotton, abaca and cotton, until we realized how cotton behaved. And so we would color it in different ways. We used ikat. We also wove it naturally and colored it using tie-dye techniques. And because cotton is available again to traditional weaving communities and available now to new weaving communities like us, because Rungan Sotobod Foundation is a 20-year-old weaving industry, we really want to push the boundaries of what we can create with these traditional techniques. I'm happy that there are so many communities around the Philippines that are now weaving in Philippine cotton that is grown in our islands, and that all of these pieces are slowly becoming more available in the market.
From what you've seen today, from the cotton to the textiles and even to what I'm wearing now, they're all locally sourced and made here in the Philippines. And it just goes to show that we have the existing resources and amazing homegrown talent in our country. And that's what HABI's been doing. That's why HABI is proud to see that more designers and entrepreneurs have started incorporating local textiles into their products. The demand for organic and ethically produced garments increases. Environmentally aware designers seek pure cotton textiles that have a gentler impact on the environment
in terms of waste and energy use. And that's the goal, to have more awareness and demand in order to revive the cotton industry. Thank you for joining us today.